Good day, y'all. Just came back from Florida and met a lot of interesting people from the South. Now, meeting interesting people. I did post on Facebook about somebody that I had met and talked to in Florida. Now I went down there as a vacation, take some time off, took the family to Disney World. I know there's a lot of people who don't agree with that, but kids loved it. I had fun. My wife had a fantastic time. That's all that matters. So, sitting in a hot tub, having a vodka, and start talking to this gentleman from Ohio. Start talking about farming. Start talking about fracking. That his water table is disturbed. He has to drink bottled water, but he don't care because he's got one of the top producing natural gas wells in the U.S. So he's quite happy. Start talking about Monsanto. Start talking about GMOs, and he's very much against it. And I haven't told him what I do or who I am or anything like that or my beliefs. And we just start going on and on and on, talking about the GMOs, what they do, and how they if you have an organic crop and you have a Monsanto crop that the winds can transfer, blah blah blah. So then he mentioned something about being ex-Secret Service, and I went, "Oh, really?" So I said to him, "Okay, you're ex-Secret Service." "Yes, I am, sir." I says, "Can I ask you a question?" He says, "What do you want to know?" So I ask, "What about UFOs and extraterrestrials?" And he says, "Oh, those guys, we've been chasing them forever." So I start brewing stuff up in my head, as I always do, and I ask about their influence on us. And he says, "Yep, in 1954, Dwight B Eisenhower signed something that the ET can come to our planet and experiment on humans in exchange for technology." And he goes on about, if you look at where computers are nowadays from where they were back in the 50s and the 60s, it was just an escalation of technology that's come into this planet. And of course, those are things that I have mentioned. So he's starting to confirm some things that I talk about and some of the things I follow. Then he mentions, the different types of ET, and he mentions the green ones with three fingers. Those would be the Arcturians. He says, "Yeah, we've been chasing those guys forever. We call them the androids because they have so much technology. They're so smart." Then he talks about the mineral-based ET. And I says, "Mineral-based ET? That's a new one for me." I says, what do you mean by mineral-based ET? He says, "Well, the reptilian types of ET." I'm like, okay. Being mineral-based, what's the significance of that? He says, "Well, they live off the minerals on this planet. They're mining the planet of resources. That's what they live off of. We are carbon-based. They are mineral-based. So we need different sustenance than them. Okay, we're not eating carbon, but to explain the difference, mineral-based, carbon-based, there's also silica-based, energy-based, light-based. Let's go on. So they are mineral-based. Okay, and he also went on that any sightings of mermaids, anything of that nature, is all these reptilians, because they do have gills. They can live underwater, and that's where basically where their bases are is underwater. I'm like, okay, this is starting to confirm some things, starting to add some things. And then he mentioned the Martians. Now, as growing up as a kid, anytime that you would think about anything from outer space, you would think Martian, such as the Bugs Bunny cartoon and that type of thing, the Martians. And that's never really come to mind for me, is to consider Martians. So that sat with me a little bit, and we kept on talking about more stuff. And he said he got out of the Secret Service because of the whole thing with 9/11. He was commissioned, him and some other people, to investigate 9/11, and he did. And then he was told not to tell anybody about it. Okay. What he did say, though, was that the order was given from somewhere in the Pacific. Okay. Now it's a no-brainer that 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, that's just goes without saying. Just like, you know, if I see another ET UFO video on YouTube, I'm like, another UFO video, another conspiracy about 9/11. I mean, it's just rampant. So lots of confirmations about things. Now, I have done interviews with ex-CIA Sergeant Downey McBolin, some other people who have connections with the Secret Service and the covert governments, the dark behind-the-scenes governments. And of course, you know, you take everything with a grain of salt. You know, where is this person's credibility, right? That's what it all kind of boils down to. So, you know, some of these people may say some things that, is he really ex-CIA? But because this guy came forward and started talking to me, and not knowing who I was and what I do, just started telling me this stuff because I you know, pried a bit and asked some questions. That to me gives a lot of credibility. So that really boosts my confidence that what we're looking for, what we're dealing with is of a very ET nature. Everything within our governments and the monetary system, the food system, everything, our resources are very much ET influenced as to how their things are done, doled out, etc. You know, one thought comes to mind is, you know, they say that there's a famine in Africa. Well, if the president of any African country is eating nice that night, there's no famine. So you control the food, you control the population, control the water, control that, yada yada yada. It's all about control. And these ET are all part and parcel with anybody in a high profile job, president, prime minister, banker, lawyer, whatever. They are involved to manipulate and beguile the human population. Okay, so that was a very good confirmation on things, and I took some good information home with that. Now, the latest things we've been working on since getting back from vacation, a lot more veils are lifting about all this ET stuff, and a lot more confirmations about the Arcturians. And again, you know, there's quite a few people out there that disagree with me that the Arcturians are actually not here to help us, that they're actually here to beguile us. Word of the day. Finding a gentleman by the name of the Dark Lord of the Arcturians, who is very much, let's call it Satan. Let's call it the dark energy. Let's call it the dark consciousness. So that is the designation we've given it, is the Dark Lord of the Arcturians, practicing a lot of witchcraft, voodoo, that type of thing, mind influence on us, causing all these different bad things that happen in our life. So that's been one of the big ones, is going after the Arcturians. The reptilians, they're kind of along for the ride and causing trouble. They are mostly gone now. A lot of the ET consciousness, a lot of the ET is leaving the planet as we're heading into the ascension. And the Arcturians, they don't want the ascension to happen. They are doing whatever they can to stop any light workers. Now, if you look at people who are considered light workers, people of high vibration, they're usually people who do run into a lot of problems, a lot of illness, a lot of bad luck, etc. These are the people that are here to raise the vibration within humanity to go into the ascension process. So by removing the Arcturians and all of their stuff, it's going to help the process. So lots of interesting things going on, as always. And we're going to keep you up to date a bit more and see where it takes us. Chris Kehler out.